Hi, it's me again, and this is fourth episode of Show Up and Tell. I have missed the previous week. I haven't felt great, and I had a lot of work to do, and it left me with no energy to do uh, even as simple thing as to press the button record in front of the camera and speak. So here I am now, as those 9 viewers of my previous video could see. Uh, that whole facial hair situation wasn't a failed attempt at fashion statement or a Halloween costume or early preparation for Movember. It was just a result of self neglect. So here I am today, and today I want to talk about uh, the trend in movies, in mostly live action series towards the medieval themes, fantasy in popular culture in last around decade, I would say. Of course, the most important piece of that trend would be the Game of Thrones series. I mean, pretty much everybody watched it. I mean, you could find teenagers, you could find I don't know, retired old white man watching that series, and you could see I don't know, glamorous girls discussing some actor from it, or something like that. It was very popular. It still is. It still tops many ratings. It's planned, as I remember. It's planned side story, and its prequel, of course, House of Dragon, are grabbing attention of people around the world still. There are, of course, different series like Vikings, for example, or um, I would call that Rings of Power, a recent series based on the uh, universe created by John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. But it is something in between, and that's what I want to talk about exactly. Uh, Before that trend emerged, pretty much fantasy was a niche scene for some. I don't know, basement dwellers, your nerds playing Dungeons and Dragons, playing computer games. It was something not very popular. Sure, there were very important works in fantasy genre, like Lord of the Rings, of course, like that. Uh, damn, I forgot that book with lion from the forget it, scrap it. Like books around Dragonlance, about Forgotten Realms. Again, we're tracking that to Dungeons and Dragons, to I don't know, musicians like Ronnie James Dio, like it was said about him, dude could sing about unicorns and rainbows and be metal as hell. Uh, it was there, but it was a niche. It was popular among some very specific demographics. Today, it is so widespread. I mean, people like it. People, I don't know, relieve it, relieve the stories, relieve the whole background. They find it relatable to their lives, and it is sorry, it is so different. Again, I'm comparing it to what was before. Like, uh, if we compare to compare Game of Thrones to Lord of the Rings, yes, it is fantasy genre. You would find it somewhere near in the store or in the library, no doubts about it. But there are some major key fundamental differences. You know, John Ronald Reuel Tolkien was pretty much educated in field of English literature, in religious literature, in what a written word is, and how it can be. He knew, of course, not only English language. He studied more. He knew pretty much. He knew at least something pretty much about every language in Europe, and his approach to his writing was completely different. Some people would say Lord of the Rings was very frivolous recreation of the Bible. It has pretty much all the basic stories, all the basic concepts, all the basic principles, uh, which he, of course, as a devoted Christian, wanted to uh, show, wanted to, I don't know, make appealing to people. And because of that, that was work uh, with all the seriousness English professor could provide. You know, uh, every character, every word, every dialogue. There are not many in Lord of the Rings, by the way. Uh, every description of the geographic place, location, uh, all the lore created to accompany the story. It was so well thought, and it really made an impression that everything here, every little thing in this book has value, especially those characters. I mean, people around those role the, around those role playing groups would, I don't know, cherish pretty much every character. They would act as them, replay the stories, and pretty much every character was valuable. And when you go to Game of Thrones, who cares? Yeah. Uh, Two more characters have died horrible death. Well, it's life, it happens. Uh, Not exactly you know their backstory, not exactly you find out why they were killed, just for the sake of it. It's life, it's medieval society where life worth nothing. It just happens. Why not? And to show it on the screen, to make it appealing, it happens in a cinematic way with the fountains of blood, with the you know muscles showing, uh, and it is quite different. You know, it coincidentally goes with a recent populist trend in global politics, where politicians and their, of course, target groups switch from post World War consensus that human rights should be key to any international and I would say internal policies moving forward from World War II, and even during Cold War, even during proxy wars like Korea, Vietnam, uh, there were a lot of concerns about not just defeating your enemy, but about human lives, human rights, human societies that are burning in this war, that should be cherished instead of being destroyed. All that hippie, I would say, philosophy, it influenced the post World War and second half of 20th century, that uh, finally got to so-called the end of the history, when liberal democracy should have defeated every other political and social model, and all the world should, I don't know, uh, take uh, hands and uh, shake hands and go together to the bright future. But it's not like that anymore. The end of the history has ended. Yeah, and I don't know for sure if it's. I wouldn't point at the causation. Was those movies requested by the audience that changed, that required something different than the generation before, or was it that switch in the politics, in the models of international relationships, uh, in turn influenced what media are, and in turn those media influenced how people feel about human life, human rights, and how it should go. You know, it's not only in the West. I mean, I've briefly uh, investigated about popular live action series in Turkey, for example, or what's popular among some of the younger generations in Russia, Chinese series. Uh, it's already something resembling that medieval model. You have a king, you have some I don't know, nobility, you have intrigues, you have murders, you have wars for power, and nobody really speaks about policies, how we should do this, how we should do that, what should be the decision on this situation. No, it's not about that. It's who is the king, who should get all the benefits from their position as a king, who should, I don't know, be on top of the food chain. And that is exactly the same in Turkey, which uh, again, like every former empire, has uh, historical figures, their sultans, that were those kings of their dreams. I mean, uh, people, I don't know, maybe they want to escape their reality, but then again, they relate to uh, those intrigues, those backstabbings, and so forth and so on. That happening around fight for power, fight for throne, and that exactly the same thing that happens in China. China may be uh, much more technologically advanced today than it was, I don't know, 50 years ago. Uh, but in mind, in political model, in how people perceive uh, the society, the government, it's still somewhere very deep in dark ages. I mean, they have their absolute ultimate leader. They have some I don't know, cabinet around him. Their so-called People's Party, and you have your peasants that worth nothing. Leader can decide how many children should they have, where should they work, what should they watch, and again, it's quite medieval, to the point of Inquisition. We know happening in Xinjiang region, and it's scary because, you know, some similar narratives, some similar worldview models happen in uh, Western world, in developed countries like Japan, uh, and it it comes through media, or I again must say I have no information, or it uh, is represented, that feeling, that shift uh, in people's beliefs, in people's dreams. That shift is represented in those movies and series. From what I know about sociology, social studies, uh, those changes in society don't happen overnight. It's always a gradual shift, with one generation slowly being replaced by other, with one economical situation changing the beliefs of people. You can have your stock traders who monitor the situation changing every minute, but then again, general population doesn't follow it so closely, and until uh, it touches them somehow, it becomes their personal problem. They tend to not recognize the change. So I would say that it is, in principle, easier to change the uh, direction of thought of some group of uh, screenwriters and directors than it is to change the behavior of tens of millions of people. But then again, it requires further investigation. It requires studies, and I'm sure there will be more. There are some theories that we are heading towards new dark ages, that humanity either is past its prime, or it's on some uh, downward trend after some upward trend. Some on the wrong side of some repetitive cycle. I'm not sure about either of those theories, but I wanted to share my concerns with you, and I will probably follow that theme further when I have a chance. That's all for today. As always, I would appreciate any comments, any corrections. I know I do a lot of mistakes when I speak, but if you, I don't know, find some repetitive mistake I constantly make that irritates you very much, write about it in comments. I'll do my best to correct myself and do better next time. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll again do my best to answer it. And that's all for today. Bye.